Okay, so this evening I'm going to make an automatic dog food feeder out of a couple 5-gallon buckets. This is a pretty simple feeder. It doesn't regulate how much your dog eats. It just keeps the bowl full. Excuse the wind. I'm going to just try and demonstrate this maybe with some music or something because it is windy. Yeah, let me get started. So all you need is 2 5-gallon buckets. You're gonna have 2 lids. I don't know where my other lid is at the moment, but that's the lid that I'm gonna use to cover it when we're done anyway. My son took off with the lid. I think he threw it at Shauna. You're gonna need a knife. Knives are good. And you're gonna need scissors. That's all you need. You don't need glue. You don't need screws. This is very simple. First thing I'm gonna do, this bucket here, I took the handle off. No, I still have the handle on bucket. But this bucket here is going to be my main bucket that stands up. And then this is going to be my food bowl bucket. So what I want to do is I want to kind of measure out how much of a food bowl I want. I want it to be somewhere right about there. So I'm going to go ahead. If you have a Sharpie, Sharpies work. I have a feeling when I did this the first time, I used a Sharpie, but your scissors can also mark lines. So whatever works for you. So I know where about I want to cut. Next step is cutting into it. Be careful when you're working with a knife. You're not going to do things that they teach you to do in the Boy Scouts when you're doing something like this, but what do Boy Scouts know anyway? I got my totem chip. I'm actually going to come in just a little bit inside the line, make it a little smaller than what I anticipated originally. Now for the food, you're going to want to come up, I make my bowls about that deep, so that's about how deep I want my opening to be. Dog food is pretty big, so you want your opening to be large enough that the dog food can't cram in there and then not flow correctly. Otherwise, you're going to have to move it out with your hands, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having an automatic feeder. You actually have to do work. Okay, so then to cut that off, it's pretty much the same thing. Come in here. And I like to find the crease at the bottom, just cut up at a slight angle, try and get it as flat as possible. It's not going to be perfect, it's okay, the dog food's going to roll out anyway. There goes a finger. Now, you end up with something like this. This is a hole in the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket. That is where your food's going to come out. Now you take your 5-gallon bucket, it does not have a hole, no hole. This 5-gallon bucket. And you're gonna basically come up about the same that you did with your opening. So I'm right about there. And you're just gonna cut a bowl out of the bottom of this bucket, going around it. You wanna make sure that you're keeping your depth. I don't think I'm keeping my depth. You come up a little bit. There we go. Voila. This is now my bowl. My next step is to figure out where my edges come in onto my bowl. I'm going to come in a little further than that and just mark them for cutting purposes. Just check the lines. I cut there. There. I feel like that's good. Okay, now these you want to try and keep as straight as possible. So I would go ahead and use your scissors and start your cuts with scissors. May need to finish them off with a knife. Okay, now I've got this flap here that I need to cut out. So I'm just going to come in like I did the last time with the knife. Okay. Work my way around. Voila, piece of cake. Now that fit in there. Make sure I did that. Enough space, I did. Okay. Now this is kind of my little trick that I came up with. So I'm just going to cut a slit. Side of the plastic. Boom. Do it there. Now, take one of these pieces that you cut and cut like a sliver, a little over 1/2 inch out. You know what? I don't think I have a wide enough hole there. Something's not right. Try and make this a little bigger. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now you said put a sliver there. I'm going to come in right about here. Do another one. Take this, and you want to feed it up through that first cut. Got a little wide right there. Got a little carried away. Putting a little slant on it kind of help you push it through. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fish it in this hole here. There we go. So it looks like something like this. Pushed it in through here. Pushed it through the bowl. And then I'm going to feed it back in down through here. So I'm just going to leave this for now. You can see it's woven in there. Got 2 good sized pieces coming out. That's in there. I'm going to go ahead and do my other side. This side is going to have to be pulled in a little bit. About 1 inch apart. A little more. Do it again. I cut another sliver off of here, about the same width. And just to make it easier to fish in by angling the end. Alright, start on the inside, push it up, Now that's on there pretty sturdy. And on the inside, I've got these big tabs, so I'm going to go in and cut those off so that they're not in my way. Still on there pretty sturdy. Now with these dog food feeders, if you don't put something in there to push the food out, it won't work. So I'm going to take my first lid and I'm going to take the bucket sold separately sticker off, because that's just stupid. They sell you a bucket and you have to buy the lid separate. And what's really stupid is we got these from Walmart, Wally World, and the lids that they sell don't fit their 5-gallon buckets. So the lid that I put on top of this thing is actually a lid from a Tractor Supply 5-gallon bucket. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this down in here. I'm going to put this down so you can see what I do. And yes, I'm wearing my house slippers outside again. Don't tell my wife. Okay, here we go. So I'm just kind of pushing that down. You can see how it kind of creates a bow and a cup effect. Get it down in there so it's real nice and snug. Now what that slant's going to do is it's going to have the food funnel down and out. I make sure that I get it snug, but I also want to make sure I'm not clogging my opening. That right there is how the food will kind of flow outward, and all the food will come out and you won't end up with a bunch of food trapped down in there. Now we'll get the other lid, we'll put it on top, and you've got yourself a pretty snazzy, super cheap automatic feeder. It'll hold quite a few cups of food. You don't have to check on your dog for days. We check on our dogs every day, but this is just, we have a Great Pyrenees puppy who just always seems hungry, and so we want her to keep growing, and we don't want her to go hungry. So this is just a method that we can use to basically allow her to eat as she pleases and during her growth phase. But we'll be able to pack this with food and she'll just be able to eat it right out of there, no problem. Very simple design, just a couple 5-gallon buckets, no other materials.